You're tired, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The other kind, the kind that lives behind your eyes and follows you from Monday to Monday without ever really leaving. You wake up and the first thought isn't gratitude. It's the list. Everything you haven't done, everything you should be. The gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be by now. You scroll through other people's progress and something tightens in your chest. Not quite jealousy, something quieter, a question you don't want to ask out loud. What am I doing this for? You work, you push, you show up. But somewhere along the way, the reason got blurry. And when the reason gets blurry, the effort starts to feel like noise. You're moving, but you're not sure you're going anywhere. You're busy, but busy and purposeful are not the same thing. And deep down you know it. So you do what most people do. You keep going. You hope the feeling passes. You tell yourself you just need a better plan, a better morning routine, a better version of yourself. But what if the problem isn't the plan? What if you forgot something so fundamental that no productivity system in the world can give it back to you? There is a creature that has no calendar, no 5-year plan, no journal filled with goals it hasn't started yet. She weighs 0.1 grams. Her brain has fewer than 1 million neurons. Yours has 86 billion. She lives on average for 6 weeks in summer. 6 weeks. And in those 6 weeks, she will fly the equivalent of 1.5 times around the Earth. She will visit up to 5,000 flowers in a single day. She will produce, in her entire lifetime, 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. 1/12 of a teaspoon. She will never see the honey used. She will never taste the result of her whole life's work. She will die before the hive finishes what she started, and she never stops. Not once. Not for doubt. Not for discouragement. Not to ask whether any of it matters. The honeybee has been doing this for 100 million years, long before humans had language, long before we had philosophy or religion or self-help books trying to explain to us what she already lives without thinking about it. She was built for this, precisely, deliberately. Every part of her, the pollen baskets on her legs, the waggle dance encoded in her body, the hexagonal instinct in her architecture, arrived complete, ready, designed. She doesn't search for purpose. She is purpose. And she knows something you don't. Inside a hive of 60,000 bees, there is no confusion about roles. The forager doesn't try to become the queen. The nurse bee doesn't abandon larvae to go collect nectar. Each bee arrives with a biological assignment, and she follows it without negotiation. Scientists discovered that the job a bee does isn't randomly assigned. It's written into her. Forager bees have different gene expression patterns in their brains than nurse bees. Same hive, same genetics, completely different neurological activation. She doesn't choose her role by thinking about it. She recognizes it from the inside. Could that architecture be an accident? Could 60,000 perfectly differentiated roles inside a single organism be the result of nothing? You live in a culture that tells you you can be anything, that you should want everything, that if you're not doing it all, you're falling behind. But the hive doesn't work because everyone does everything. It works because each creature does the one thing it was made for, completely, without apology, without looking sideways. Your exhaustion might not be a lack of discipline. It might be the cost of trying to be someone you were never designed to be. What if the life you keep chasing is not the one you were built for? When a forager bee finds a rich source of food, she returns to the hive and performs what scientists call the waggle dance, a precise figure-8 movement, calibrated to communicate the exact direction, distance, and quality of the source. The angle of the dance relative to the sun indicates direction. The duration indicates distance. The intensity indicates value. She transmits everything the hive needs, nothing it doesn't. Carl von Frisch spent decades decoding this language. He won the Nobel Prize for it in 1973. A creature with a brain the size of a sesame seed carries inside her a navigational communication system, so precise it accounts for the movement of the sun across the sky during her flight back. That level of precision, calibrated, intentional, complete, doesn't assemble itself. You over-explain. You justify. You send the long message when a short one would do. You spend energy communicating your anxiety instead of your direction. The bee doesn't dance her fears. She doesn't perform her doubts. She transmits one thing. Here is where the good thing is. Follow this. The most powerful communicators in any room do the same. They've stripped away everything that isn't signal. What remains is impossible to ignore. What would change if you only said the thing that actually needed to be said? A worker bee in summer lives 6 weeks. The honey she produces will last in ideal conditions for thousands of years. Archaeologists found honey in Egyptian tombs that was 3,000 years old, still edible. She builds for permanence, she lives in impermanence. She will never eat most of what she makes. She will never see the winter her honey gets the colony through. She will be gone before the first cold night arrives, and she still fills every cell completely, carefully, without resentment. There is something almost unbearable about that if you sit with it long enough. You're obsessed with results you can see, feedback you can feel, progress that confirms you're not wasting your time. But most of what matters in a life takes longer than a lifetime to understand. The conversation you had that you've already forgotten might be the one someone else built their courage on. The thing you made carefully and quietly might outlast every loud thing you ever announced. Seneca wrote, "Omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est." Everything is borrowed, only time is yours. And the bee, with her 6 weeks, wastes none of it waiting for acknowledgement. What are you building right now that you won't be alive to see finished? The honeycomb is built in perfect hexagons, not approximately hexagonal, not roughly six-sided. Mathematically precise hexagons, the most efficient shape in geometry for storing maximum volume with minimum material and minimum weight. Engineers confirmed in the 19th century what bees have been building for 100 million years. The hexagon is the optimal solution. There is no better answer. The bee builds this without a ruler, without a blueprint. Without a single calculation, she is conscious of making. The geometry is inside her. She expresses it the way you express your native language, not by thinking about the grammar, but by simply being what she is. Something that precise doesn't happen by accident. Something that perfect doesn't assemble from randomness. You can believe that if you want, but you will have to work very hard to believe it. You confuse perfectionism with precision. Perfectionism is fear dressed up as standards. It delays, it paralyzes. It uses the idea of quality to avoid the risk of judgment. Precision is different. Precision is the bee. It does exactly what the job requires, no more, no less, and moves to the next cell. You already know the difference. You feel it in your body. Perfectionism is the tightness. Precision is the flow. Which one have you been calling by the wrong name? When a hive is threatened, worker bees will sting the intruder, knowing that the act of stinging will kill them. The stinger is barbed. It tears from her body. She dies in the act of protecting the colony. She does it anyway. This is not suicidal instinct in any tragic sense. It is the clearest possible expression of a life organized around something beyond itself. She doesn't die because she doesn't value her own life. She dies because she values the colony's life more. The hierarchy of her loyalty is built in, unambiguous and completely without hesitation. The hive is not a collection of individuals each trying to win. It is one organism, breathing through 60,000 bodies. The modern world has convinced you that the goal is self-optimization. Build your personal brand, protect your energy, put yourself first. There is wisdom in that. But there is also something the bee knows that the self-optimization industry will never sell you, because it cannot be monetized. A life organized around something larger than yourself is not a smaller life. It is the only life that doesn't feel empty at its center. The bee doesn't sting because she was told to. She stings because she knows at a level deeper than thought what she belongs to. Do you know what you belong to? These aren't 5 lessons. They're 1. Every behavior of the bee. The specialization, the precise communication, the building for permanence, the hexagonal exactness, the willingness to give everything, points to a single truth. She knows what she is. She knows what she's for. And she never spends a single second of her 6 weeks arguing with it. That's the thing you lost. Not motivation, not discipline, not a better morning routine. You lost the certainty of being made for something. And that loss doesn't show up as sadness. It shows up as noise. It shows up as scrolling at midnight. It shows up as productivity without peace. It shows up as the quiet suspicion that you're performing a life rather than living one. The The bee doesn't perform, she expresses. Every flight, every dance, every hexagon is the unobstructed expression of what she was designed to be. And now, look at her one more time. 0.1 grams, 1 million neurons, 6 weeks. 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in an entire lifetime. Built to navigate by the sun. Built to communicate through geometry. Built to construct mathematical perfection without a single conscious calculation. Built to die protecting what she loves without hesitation. Something this precise doesn't happen by accident. Something this complete doesn't assemble itself from noise. If this was designed, and look at her and tell me honestly that it wasn't, then ask yourself the only question that matters. Designed by whom? And designed for what? You don't have to answer today, but don't stop asking. Somewhere right now, a bee is flying toward a flower she has never seen before. She doesn't know if she'll make it back. She goes anyway. She always goes anyway.